Hi, welcome to the Andrew Buckle video tutorial on Illustrator 2021 and the repeat feature with the Blob Brush. Now, you probably don't even know where the Blob Brush is. Lots of people seem to not use the Blob Brush, but I think it's a maligned tool. However, let's just come out of this. Just delete this design. This was created by the Blob Brush. And the key thing is, where is the Blob Brush? That's a good starting point. And it's over here, below the paintbrush tool. So Blob Brush. It's got a horrible name. I wish they had called it something else. And I'm going to go with black for the colour. So I'm just going to start with black. So you can double click and it will bring up eventually the panel, and you can change the fidelity, which is weird. They have this massive fidelity right at the top. I just do not understand that, why that is the dominant. The keypad tools are the ones right down the bottom, which is size. So you can change the size. You can also see fidelity, you can change the angle, and you can change the roundness. Now I'm going to go with just a standard blob like that, and I've got keep selected. So now just apply. And there it is, just a very simple thing. Now the thing about the blob brush is you can just add to it. You can also resize it, of course, and add different ways, but it's just a great way of creating things. But it can now be used with the repeat feature. If you haven't got the repeat feature, and it seems to be some people haven't, because I've had emails, contact, people said, it isn't there. Well, this is Creative Cloud, latest version, Creative Cloud, and you've got repeat and radial. So it should be there, but if it's not, I don't know why. Sorry about that. So you've got radial there, select that, and you can see straight away what happens. Now it defaults on the repeat options of, I've got 12, yours might be 10, 15, whatever you've set it, and you can set it via the object and repeat and options. You can set a default, which is always used. I like 12, but it could be 4 or 3 or whatever you want. And you can modify the instances there. So you can just, let's just reduce it down so it's not so, it's much easier to see when you've got, but what you can also do, you can change the, now you can't add the blob brush to this. If you add a blob, another brush stroke to that, it is not added to that. You have to go into the repeat object to do that. So I'm just going to go over here with the selection tool, and I'm just going to click into it. I just also want to show, before I do any additional to that, what you can do, you can of course move it around, you can modify. Any changes to the one changes everything else. So you can simply rotate as well, and you can do that to your heart's content and create all kinds of different designs. Very quick and easy that way. So just put it back to that way. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to use the blob brush. So just go over to the blob brush, and you can see then you've got all the points still. Now you can modify the points, you can actually select them. They're just standard points. So if you want to, you can tweak it as well, but you can also add to it. And I'm just going to carefully add to that design. You can see as I do that, it will add there. Now what you can do, again, change here, change the size, and make it a bit smaller. So 12, and I can, oops, got my art pen. It's quite easy just to click the little side bar and it bring up the menu. Sometimes when you don't really want it to do that. But you can see you can create all kinds of different designs, and it's all reflected over there. So you can do that. And of course what you can do, you can change the colour. You want to, you can change the colour. And of course what you can also do, you can apply other additional strokes. So just go over there, and you don't have to apply to, that always comes up when I don't want it, just to add some additional. So it doesn't have to be connected to the blob. So you can just continue. So you can, if you want, say I'm just going to change it now, say to black. And you can see you can create all kinds of very interesting and unusual designs and actual blobs as well if you want to add blobs to it. So you can see that. Now, once you've done that, you can come out. You come out just over here. Just click this little arrow up top, and you're outside now. With that, you got back to this repeat feature. And what you can do, you can, of course, resize, you can rotate, so you can create all kinds that you think, oh, you know what, that's a lovely design. Or you can modify a number of instances. Though, of course, sometimes when you've got this sort of design, it looks a bit extreme. So I'm just going to remove that. And I'm just going to go back to the blob tool. Now, the blob tool is very similar to the erasure tool. So obviously it does the reverse. but it's functionality wise, it's exactly the same. Other than that, of course. Now, what you got this design here. It's just a standard blob. You can apply effects to it as well. So you can go to effects, you could go to 3D, maybe use distort and transform, maybe zigzag or twist, and you can create that. So you've got that design. Well, what you can do, you can then go to object and repeat and radial, and you can see then you've got that design there. So all kinds of different designs can be created using this approach. And again, just change that, and if you want to, you can edit it. So you can always just select one of them, just go to there, double click, and now when you're in there, what you can do, of course, you can, because it's just got an effect applied, you can remove that effect. To do that, go to Window and Appearance, and the Appearance panel over here, you've got zigzag. So if you just want to say remove that, just click and it's gone. Still there if you want to bring it back, but at that point it has gone now. And of course what you can do, you can hold down the Alt or Option key and you can duplicate that design. Just create all kinds of complex designs like that. And let's come out there. Of course, you could then, I'm just going to show the next one, the grid, because it's not just radial. I always show radial. Radial is probably the most interesting one, I think, but the grid one is pretty good as well. So again, go to the Blob Brush and then apply blob without. I always click this. I don't know why they always make it so sensitive sometimes. So it's so easy to click it by accident. Right. Now go to the down here, object and repeat and grid. And you can see you've got a grid there, and you can interactively change this. So you can make the distance there, the size of this block. Now it's just a complete continuous. You can expand it. If you want to expand, you can always go to object and expand, and that returns it just to a standard set of paths. And you can also go downwards as well. Why they didn't add it up both sides, I don't know, but anyway. And you also can modify the gap, so you can increase that. So you want more, and you go over this side, and you can see you can do that, squeeze it closer if you want to do. Now I find it harder to manipulate in the grid thing. So it's one of the ones that I think that's slightly more tricky. So if I double click on this and go into this design, and you see you can modify that. Of course, all the spacing, etc., just means that you end up sort of can't see anything, or you can space it out. And you can rotate, and you can see you can create some very interesting designs using this grid feature as well. Now, just going to come out of that, and final one, I'm just going to create another blob. Now, of course, you don't have to create what I've just been creating. You can also, of course, make more elaborate designs. You can, so let's go for a bit more. And something like that. And of course you could recolour it in all many different ways, but I'm going to select that. So I've got that design there, the whole thing I'm going to have. And I'm going to go to Object, and again, go down to Repeat, and there's Mirror. And then you got Mirror. Now, it's always best to work on the left. Sometimes you can access the right side. Don't know why, but it's consistently, it works from the left side. So you can move it around, just select the whole design. You can rotate, and you can have it go blending into one as well, which is quite nice. So you can create sort of, say like that sort of design. However, once you've done that, come out of it, and you've got your design there. You can then, of course, go to, and I'm going to just rotate that. And then what you can do, you can go to Object, and you can add another mirror if you want to. So you can always go to Repeat and Mirror. And you can see you've got that design. So you've got a mirror of a mirror, which you can blend into one. And then, of course, at this point, it's not so effective. However, what you can do, you can always let's just come out of that. Got that design there. And you can go to Object and Repeat and maybe Radial. So you can create a radial design with that. So something like that. And it's all still live. So if you decide, you know what, I want to edit this design. I don't want this stuff. What you can do, double click on one of them. Just go to one of them. Double click. And you go down to that source design. And any change you can see will be changed there. And again, you can rotate, join it like that. Now what you can also do is you can just go down even further. It probably ends up a bit of a mess, to be honest. But you can see you can tweak that design and so on. So you have to be careful which one you select, because sometimes if you select the wrong one, then you find that you get a slightly different design than you expect. Okay. Double click, eventually get down to the actual. Now it's quite possible sometimes you can't get and change things. Sometimes I found that some of the tools, you try and think you can go down all the way down and you can't. So it's now if I've got the blob brush here, so just go to the right one, this blob brush, and you can see selected there. Now what I can do, I can add additional, and again, you can see you can get some very interesting combinations, maybe not in the way you expect. So just come out of that, again, top left, come out. So it doesn't always particularly work in the way that you think. I think it gets a bit confused when you have radial, mirror, whatever. So it's always best to make the design right at the start and then add all the radial mirrors to it, and then it should be fine. But I just wanted to point out that sometimes I've noticed that it does seem to come out with some very unusual results sometimes. But however, let's just go back. Key thing is blob brush and just create your design. All kinds of lovely design, and which you can, of course, again, as I point out, you can vary, you can change, and also you can change the angle and roundness. So let's make that. So it's a design there, and you can see, create that design, and change colour. Select that. With that selected, what you can do, go to Object, and this is always the case, repeat there, and then modify that. So you design a little bit better there. Well, I hope you found this of interest. Always adding new tutorials about Photoshop, Illustrator, Critter, Affinity Photo, Affinity Designer, Publisher, etc. So please subscribe to the Graphic Extra channel. Also, please add some comments. What did I do wrong? What did I do right? What things didn't you understand? Please let me know. Give me some details in terms of what things maybe you would like me to explore with the blob brush and the repeat, different ways. Also, a dislike or like. Always appreciated. Thank you much.